The Walking Dead concluded its original run on television with 177 episodes that spanned the course of 11 seasons and 12 years, officially ending on November 20th, 2022. And now, going on 4 years since its finale, we have gotten news that seemingly confirms The Walking Dead, with most of its cast and locations we love, is going to return with either a 12th season or an entirely new series that will act as a sequel. This comes as the original series is nearing the end of its streaming deal with Netflix, and as conversations begin over a possible renewal, The Walking Dead is attracting viewership ratings and earnings that would entice many providers to jump on the rights in order to revive the show. Today, we're going to break down this news, discuss the likelihood of a season 12, and we'll go over what a 12th season would even look like. Let's talk about it. For a quick message before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the latest The Walking Dead news. And check out my last video where I discussed how Rick Grimes will return in the final season of the Daryl Dixon series. You won't want to miss it. When The Walking Dead ended back in 2022, we knew that the universe was far from over. There had been confirmation and even promotional material for upcoming spin-offs with our main characters, such as Dead City and Daryl Dixon. We were also aware of 3 Rick Grimes movies since 2019. However, that was eventually turned into The Ones Who Live, which was to serve as the end for Rick and Michonne's story. The finale of the main series felt less like the ending of a show we had been watching for over a decade, and more so a shift in focus and chapters of this universe's storytelling. That new chapter focused on separating our characters into pairs following the finale, examples being Negan and Maggie, Daryl and Carol, and Rick and Michonne. So when that chapter eventually ends, which it mostly has besides Dead City, what comes next? Well, it would be to have a reunion that reunites everyone. That is where a 12th season comes into play. A Rick and Daryl reunion in Daryl Dixon Season 4, the final season, would be great. But that's just not the show to bring everyone back in. We need a proper conclusion for this universe with our core group fighting one last battle all together. And it finally seems like that is going to happen after a bleak last few years. And this will be a big series with high stakes, featuring the surviving characters we know, all in hopes of retaining current viewers and bringing back the past ones that once made The Walking Dead the king of television. And since this new article has dropped, we now know how much of a goldmine The Walking Dead has been for both AMC and Netflix. This is as talks begin about its streaming renewal. Being reported by Deadline, The Walking Dead is said to have its streaming rights returned to the control of AMC Networks within a year, as its deal with Netflix is quickly approaching its end. AMC Networks CEO Kristen Dolan has confirmed that The Walking Dead brought in close to 500 million hours of watch time while streaming on Netflix. That is massive. When speaking on behalf of the value of the rights to the series, Dolan said she couldn't comment, but she did acknowledge they're quite valuable and could be anywhere around $300 million. From the article, we also learned that Dolan wouldn't give any sort of confirmation on whether or not talks for a renewal were exclusively with Netflix, even though they'd get first grabs if they wanted to proceed. Nonetheless, if not, this opens The Walking Dead up to new potential markets. This news is massive for the future of the franchise and does dictate if we'll see a return to the universe with our characters in a brand new season. To put all of it simply, The Walking Dead is making Netflix a ton of money. In the second half of 2025, it managed to accumulate around 500 million viewers on the platform. That's just half of the year alone. And while ratings have been low for Fear the Walking Dead, Dead City, and even Daryl Dixon, the original series is continuing to print an endless stream of cash for its producers. That is something any studio would want to capitalize off of. With all of this being said though, what we want to know is how possible is it we'll get either a full renewal of the series for a continuation of where it ended, or a separate show entirely that acts as a sequel. The good news is, given the direction this universe has been purposefully aligning itself with, it is extremely likely. Never on this channel will I tell you something is extremely likely, also considering in my last video I said this type of crossover show would probably never happen, but this news really opens the odds up to something more than greater than a possibility. It's no secret that The Walking Dead in its final years, especially its last season, began to struggle with retaining viewership. Audiences were consistently leaving the show, and it was no longer the TV dynasty it once was. After we started getting spin-offs like Daryl, Dixon, Dead City, and even The Ones Who Live, numbers dropped even more. It is important to note that AMC Plus ratings, the streaming service, are not included, though we do know they were on a decline as well. For any television show, certainly a universe, it is spelling out there's becoming a lack of interest for what they're doing. More than that, it's letting you know that death is upon the horizon. This is what gets shows cancelled. So in the case of the Walking Dead universe, which demonstrates this trend, the last-ditch effort to steer this world out of the rough for a proper conclusion that people care about is to do it right. And what would be right at this point? Take all the characters we've separated over the last couple of years and bring them together to fight one last time. This is the clear path that Chief Content Officer Scott Gimple was planning to set the universe down when the spin-offs first came out. Those duos were then all going to come together and fight off not the CRM like we had thought, rather The Walking Dead's oldest enemy, the Walkers. In The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, which premiered 2 years ago now, Major General Beale tells Rick during his Echelon briefing that the CRM's modeling shows humanity only has another 14 years before total extinction. In fact, it could be even quicker than that. This is because of resources being hoarded and too divided among surviving communities, and also the fact walkers carry numerous diseases that are evolving and changing, potentially becoming more dangerous to the human race. Whereas The Ones Who Live has Rick's talk with Beale placed in 2022, that show's final episode takes place in 2023. Currently, Dead City is the furthest into the future, its most recent episode taking place in 2028. Heading into Season 3, we may very well see 2029. These events are bringing us closer to what would be the extinction of humanity. And if the shows are going to unite into a new one or a 12th season, they'd have to be caught up in the timeline. To bring everyone up to speed in this universe so they're all in the same place at the same time, we'll have to jump at least 6 years into the future from where we last saw Rick and the Grimes family in The Ones Who Live. The Daryl series is now in late 2023 to early 2024, meaning we'll have to get Daryl and Carol home in Season 4, give them a peaceful life, and then jump 5 years to 2029. I'd say Dead City will probably end after this season, Season 3, meaning 2029 would be the year everyone is reunited within the universe. I think this timeline is less than ideal and has a high chance of leading to recasting of the children characters as well. Kaylee Fleming at 18 still has very much of a baby face, and to do a 6-year time jump just wouldn't work with Judith right now. At least if you want to keep Kaylee playing her. Same with the character of RJ. It is less than ideal, it's so far into the future. But again, it's getting closer to the walkers being a real threat again. We have gotten to see the variants in Season 11 and in Daryl Dixon, so now would be the time to make them the staple antagonist. Our characters have faced every human threat imaginable, meaning this is the opportunity to pit them against a herd with over 1 million walkers in it. More so, these walkers can run, pick up tools, and they're strong. Let them face the literal end of the world. It would bring back those early season vibes, right up to Season 5 where they're roughing it and trying to survive the undead threat. A reason why The Walking Dead is receiving so much attention on Netflix is because of short-form video content depicting iconic scenes from the show. Hell, I even post shorts on this channel of some of the series' best moments. This is attracting a new viewer base who are still turning it off when Glenn dies, but also past fans are coming back to re-watch those golden era seasons. The early period of this show is such a huge draw. That's why it's talked about so much and why you never hear anything about the later seasons, mostly past Season 7. So the writing is on the wall on how to recapture audiences. We know what they like and what they want from The Walking Dead. The universe is reaching the end of its tenure. It's time to officially wrap it up in a conclusive, monumental way. From there, it can be reassessed, and perhaps we'll get a reboot or animated series, or maybe we'll continue on with new stories. For something like The Walking Dead, there's quite literally endless possibilities. And if we're lucky, maybe we'll get a proper Tales from the Walking Dead show. Let me know in the comments below what you think on the matter. Should The Walking Dead return with a 12th season or a new sequel series? Should Rick and the rest of the group unite to fight one last time? Or are you satisfied with how things ended in The Ones Who Live? What do you think would happen in a 12th season? I want to hear all of your thoughts and more. And be sure to check out my last video where I talked about how Rick Grimes will definitely be returning in Season 4, the final season of Daryl Dixon. That series will be crucial to a possible 12th season or even a new show, so make sure you check out that last video to fully catch up. There's loads to talk about when it comes to The Walking Dead right now, so make sure you subscribe to not miss out. Thanks everyone for watching, stay safe, and have a great day.